Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I want to welcome you back to the fourth quarter. We're in the fourth quarter of our programming here at the Exceptional Conservative Show, where we're not ashamed of the good news of conservatism, for it is the power of liberation, first to the Republican and then the tyrant. Mary Brockman, my bouncer in chief, is in the chat room. Smooches gracias to you, Mary Brockman. Love you dearly. I want to say to you, Mary, you're absolutely right. Unfortunately, those people on the left have been schooling us as if we are indoctrinated. Very few masks can be reused. Unfortunately, there are people out there trying to reuse them, and gloves are to be used only once. You're absolutely right, Mary. Otherwise, they are contaminated. I want to talk tonight with a young woman who not only is a brilliant mind in terms of politics and economics, but a great teacher as well. And she can most expressly do well for the city of Baltimore. You all know her as the CEO of Liberty Lives Media. She is also one of the most profound thinkers I think of when it comes to politics. I love talking with her, and she'll be back next week as well to take the place of Dave Milner in this time slot. LibertyLivesMedia.com's CEO, Liz Matory. It's a tremendous pleasure to have you on the air with us tonight.
Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
Liz, I got to ask you, because you're a teacher as well, and I know there are lots of people who are saying social distancing, it's okay, it's the greatest thing in the world. But how is that really working out when it comes to the teacher-child relationship? Is that beneficial at all?
Really funny. Not only in education, I spent most of my life in academia, but I'm also a daughter of two physicians, two surgeons. And so we sort of learned very early age was to wash our hands properly. It's not a 20-second ritual. It could be a 2-minute ritual if you want to do it properly. You know, when it comes to sneezing, for example, the drops that proliferate through the air could not just be 6 feet. It could be for several. Oh, and by the way, you just happen to walk into said, plume of sneeze, and you're done. So, when you talk about 6 feet, I'm just saying. I mean, you can try your distance, but eventually we're talking about you have higher globe shut down is unprecedented, and I've talked about it multiple times. But we serve as we Americans, like this situation, we get allergic. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Now, in the sense of the whole idea, you have two great physicians in your family,
but yeah,
and well, in this particular situation, we were told that this was something that you could only get by touch and feel, and as if someone was close to you. It seemed that NIH and the CDC were working very hard to tell people not that it was an airborne virus. And I have to ask you here in this regard, wasn't that detrimental from the very beginning?
Well, I think I really don't know where we want to start to talk about October. You want to talk about November, December, January, February. We could have been exposed to this virus simultaneously of an influenza, virus. So people could have had these, symptoms simultaneously, and we wouldn't know until, of course, the People's Republic of China told us that there was something else that we were dealing with. So whether it was CDC, whether NIH, what have you, you only know what you know with the data that you're given.
Yes.
And just like any person who did 7th grade science class, garbage in, garbage out.
Yes.
If people are giving you data that is inaccurate and evaluating, let's just say, how you're organizing or your country based on data, and the data is wrong, well, then therefore your solutions are You got to start over again. Where is that sort of sensibility where all of the board, every gut, there were mistakes made, but there also were dealing with false from the beginning.
Exactly.
So you need to clear it up and move forward.
Now, moving forward, and you happen to live in the People's Republic of Maryland. And
Indeed.
I'm not trying to get you in trouble because you're running for office and there are people who are supporting you and things of that nature.
Right.
My opinion during this time period is mine alone. I have a tremendous problem with Governor Hogan, who is an anti-Trumper, of course. And Governor Hogan telling people that they must remain inside, they must wear a mask if they're going to go in public, and they must wear gloves. And all of these things we're finding out when we look at real medicine and not hockey stick science are the exact opposite of things that need to be done. Is he on a power trip? This is my opinion.
Well, let's just say that let's start off by an important fact that every public servant in situation has a great responsibility, and all the more reason that's why elections matter. Mm-hmm. Whether you are appointed or elected to said offices, whether you're county executives, governors, legislators, what have you, this is why you hold that position. And you want to look, and we should and ought to look up to our public servants and make the right decisions based on what they know. My personal opinion about it is that I would have preferred for us all to stay voluntary abiding versus mandated to do.
Yes.
And between that third, fourth week, just again, the visceral response that a citizen has, that a conservative would have, that an American would have, that someone is mandating you to do something across the board, not shelter in place because you're above the age of 65, that you have asthma or emphysema or high pressure, all these, again, comorbidities, technical term, but right. If you already have an immune system, then those are the people who are supposed to stay in place. But across the board, shutting down small businesses. So, we were at Walmart today. Okay, heaven forbid. Mom and I went to Walmart. I admit I went to Super Walmart. It's difficult for me to admit that, but she wanted to buy yarn, right?
Yes.
Hardly any options there, right? Case simple. Wouldn't it be wonderful if the local yarn store was open so that my mom, the one person of 1,000 people who are at Walmart, she wants to buy yarn. Okay, Why doesn't she go to the yarn store and only be exposed to the, no offense, but 10 people in that afternoon who were there to buy yarn? So like when you go to mandates and you look at reality and those don't match up, that's why the citizens like, what's that about?
Exactly. Liz, there are people who are sitting at home today for the first time in their life.
Yeah.
And they are realizing, I'm not going back to work. That guy who used to get on my last nerves, who was the boss of the place, is out of business. And he's not coming back.
Right.
My job's not coming back. And I'm supposed to live off of $300 a week and unemployment money with hopefully $600 coming from COVID-19. Come on now. What do you say to the Marylander in Hagerstown or in Baltimore who knows that their job is not coming back?
Weird thing is, only sort of odd saving grace is that there are a hell of a lot of people in a situation. Instead of, you got fired because you looked, stink eye at someone and you got, canned and you're out of work. It happens, right?
Exactly.
With no fault of your own across the board, our fellow citizens it's not almost as if you got a sort of reef happening. It's an
Yes.
entire reset. So highlight the things that are absolutely important. What are those? Food, water, shelter, right?
Yeah.
Even if you have mortgage, even if you have rent, you already have stopgap measures in place that they can't bring you to rent court, and kick you out or foreclosure. So sort of identify the things that you can worry about and let go of the things just for this moment. Ease some of that anxiety, because I've been out of work before, graduated after September, and I finished law school at the economic downturn, the last. So,
Yeah.
my generation is sort of used to being like, all right, we're ready to go. And then we like run into a wall, you know what I mean? So like, unfortunately, not a good feeling. And I don't wish that on anyone at all, because I've been there personally. But at the same time, you got to focus. You have the opportunity to only think of your immediate kin. So like, yes, you want to see grandma. Yes, you want to see auntie. Yes, you want to be and connect with all these different people, because it's our natural way of us being social beings.
Yes.
But this is a time for you to be like, I gotta focus on my own stuff. And
Exactly.
it's okay for us to be selfish. Man, I was looking at the calendar we had right before this. Okay, so we were in Annapolis. I was at CPAC. You were at CPAC.
Yeah.
Right before this turn down. I was at Freedom Works. We were like at all these different things. And then all of a sudden you're shut down. You're like, wait, I have to admit, like, part of me does not mind the chill time.
Yes.
Like, I'm baking, you know what I mean? Like, I've baked 14 random things over the last 21 days. Don't tell anybody that I wouldn't mind being, pregnant somewhere. But on the other end, you know what I mean? There's certain time where we spend more time together. We can spend more time with our children, get to know our children if we don't. I mean, rebuild those bonds. And again, on what you can control at the time. Don't worry about else.
Now, in terms of that, and I concur with you in terms of not to worry, but we're talking about 26 million people and growing who are unemployed. We're talking about
Right.
the only people who are realistically getting paid in all of this are government employees. Okay.
Well, now.
All right. And a few other essential personnel who are around the country.
Right.
And quite frankly, there are lots of Americans who are saying, once the bell rings and this is all over and we have to go back, the government is going to be there for us, right? The government's going to give us $1,000 or $2,000 a month. Governor Hogan's going to give me a government job. I'm going to be okay, right? Isn't this what government is for?
No, I don't think. I mean, I think I can only speak my region, for example.
Yeah.
People can't wait to be, you know what I mean? So whether it's helping out part time, if there are jobs available, for example, if you work at Wise Market and be a clerk person, you can work, but you'll be everybody else's germs, right? So, you got to identify what's what. However, this is also an opportunity for people to, again, tap into what they want to do.
Yes.
My biggest dream was to be a writer and to be a speaker, right? So, on my downtime, I wrote, and now there are a couple of books that are up on that. Every single time somebody buys it, I get $7, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, eventually, right now it might not, but at the same time, the one thing that you to shore up is your mental clarity. And that is going to be the challenge, because again, I've been there. Yes. You have to make sure that whatever you need to do, take that walk, open that window, breathe fresh air, because you can't do anything else unless you have yourself, your sense of self and your being, So yes. Again, like I know people are feeling it. I know because I've been there, but at the same time, it a shared burden. And it isn't the government's job to just for us to sit here and take a check, but a check that is coming from the Federal Reserve, because it's not real money anyway.
Yeah.
It's a federal,
Yeah.
it's federal, it's from the Federal Reserve. So it's just made up in the first place. So don't feel that bad. You know what I mean?
Imaginary dollars.
It's not, yeah, exactly. They print those out. It's their job because it's
now, Liz, because I really appreciate you coming on tonight, and you're going to be back next Thursday night
yes, sir.
as well. But you are running in a specific congressional race, and there is a lot of confusion about you running and another patriot, Kimberly Klasick, running. And there are some people who are saying, are you all running against each other? What's going on with this Maryland race? Can you explain that to us?
Right. Yes. So there are two elections happening simultaneously. Unfortunately, Congressman Cummings passed away October 17th in 2019. So Congress have 2-year terms, right? Not 20-year terms, but whatever. You know? So he died anyway. He died within the 2-year term. So the Governor Hogan called a special election. Already had the primary, 1,000 Republicans participated in said primary, and Kim Klasick won that special election primary, and Kwesi and Fume, the Democrat primary. So both of those two bills are running against each other. The last day to vote, April 28th. Again, whoever wins that, whether it's Kim, only finished the last 9 months of Cummings' term. What's happening is normally it would have been, again, because of the COVID-19, our primary, the normal primary would have been April 28th also, but they moved that normal primary, again, the one that would have affected the general election, then, start January 2021, the normal cycle, Governor Hogan moved it second. So technically, she's been running simultaneously 2 races at once. She's been running the general election, still running against the Republican, for the normal nation, and 4 others. So she acts as if she's the only person, but it's only for, a next couple of days. And then we reset pretty much. And it might be a little bit easier for people to understand it that way, where it sort of starts up again.
Exactly.
Where the 17 Democrats that are running each other, and you got the 5 or 6 Republicans running in our respective areas for the course of business.
Okay, because that's a very good explanation that this is a special election on the 28th of this month.
Right.
The real primary for the congressional seat is in June. And Kimberly Klasick and you and others are running in that as well. I want to ask you, without running out of time here, what's the difference between you and all the others? I'm not pinpointing any one person. What's the difference between you as a candidate and all the others?
Thank you for that. And again, that's one of the reasons why if I thought that there was someone else who could really do the district justice, I wouldn't be running. But just like very many districts here in Maryland, but particularly this is one of the most gerrymandered districts in the country. You've got Baltimore and you've got rural America all mixed up into one. And I'm the only person, I think, besides the people statewide, who is connected with voters from all walks of life for about 7 or 10 years now. And so have that understanding of the, and also have the educational and professional experience where people are coming from. Not everybody's an MBA, not everybody's a JD, not everybody's a league, but then went to, the University of Maryland. By the way, I used to be an active liberal Democrat. You know what I mean? So late as 2014, I'm sorry, we used to be breaking bread together. And
Yeah.
when we were doing that, we had these conversations. They know that we had these conversations all the way down in Kill, and they said, I don't like the word lean of my party. What do we do? I left. They stayed, but they still follow Christ. They still believe in God, and that is still pushing a anti-Christian and anti-Jewish, and it just don't even know what you want to call it. See, is that if you are a Christian, you know. And so when you have those conversations, real people know which candidate will make more sense than all the others.
Exactly. I want to ask you here because I got into quite a quibble with the leftist that was on earlier
No.
tonight, Michael Brown.
Oh, Michael Brown. Oh, bless his heart.
Bless his heart. You got to bless your. For all you Southerners out there, you know exactly what that means.
I know him. I know him from DC. I know his family. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, he believes that the federal government should bail out the states. Do you share that opinion?
No, that's the reason why they're independent states. Every state should be able to balance their own budget. And everybody sort of picks federalism when it's convenient. You know what I mean?
When you need a ventilator.
Exactly. I mean, I do like. I mean, there's so many examples of these particular cities that act as if we have money growing on trees. Speaking of which, bringing all these unlawful entrants, putting them on the budget, but then all of a sudden, when you can't afford it, you wonder why conservatives were like, we can't afford all these extra people. So why don't you slow your roll? So sort of the chickens are coming to roost right now.
Yes.
And people are like, we told you budgets matter. We told you fiscal responsibility matters, especially in times of crisis. So now that we're in a time of crisis, you want to ask us for no, go for bankruptcy, destroy it, and keep it moving.
Okay, now that sounds great, but you know grandma's sitting at home on that pension. And you know the first thing that's going to get hit is that pension, and they're going to say that you conservatives took it away my pension. Okay?
Yeah.
Can you express to these individuals now, before they lose their pension, the truth of the matter?
Let's just say that the most protected class of citizenry are seniors. So when it push comes to shove, no is going to want to impact grandma. So it's almost as if we have to identify all the several different areas where we do have to pull up our, be more fiscally minded so that we impact the pensions. Plus, the pensions are, I think they did a lot of when the economic downturn in 08, and they made sure that pensions, were diversified, not, all in one. So I think, let's pray that the measures that we used now years ago are in place so that in the event we have another emergency now, that those pensions fortified. That's what they were supposed to have done.
Now, that's the key.
That's what they said they were going to do.
That's the key statement, ladies and gentlemen, around the country. That's the key statement, and you all need to contribute to Liz Matory's campaign because that's the key. What we have learned about unemployment, the promises they made in 08, they didn't do it, and it's showing up now where states are taking 3 to 4 weeks to get that money out the door. So you better watch what's been done in your particular state or your city. Liz, we love you. God bless you in your electoral pursuit. We'll see you next week around the same time.
Thank you. God bless.
God bless. You know, they don't say God bless anymore. You know what they say? Be safe. I know. I'm one of those conservatives again. Ladies and gentlemen, what a wonderful conversation with a tremendous woman, Liz Matory. Liz Matory. I'm going to get in trouble for saying her name improperly. Liz Matory. She's the CEO of Liberty Lives Media, LLC, libertylivesmedia.com. And I assure you, ladies and gentlemen, that she is a tremendous candidate for the Congressional District 7 up in Maryland, a more proper individual than certainly Cummings ever was. This weekend we have movies that you should be tuning in to watch. My name is Shanghai Joe on Saturday at 4 p.m. On Sundays at 12, 3, and 6. We got great movies that we want you to tune into our network to watch. I hope that you've enjoyed watching our Great Republics TV network, the TECN TV. We are a republic, not a democracy. As well, we are the best in urban conservative news and talk, TECN TV, TheExceptionalConservativeShow.com. We will be back with more of the best right after these messages.